Hello my friend, this is Max Eberly and welcome to another instructional pool video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to play 10 ball and I'm going to take those little targets and place them where I think I want the cue ball to land on every shot before I even shoot the one ball. So this is pretty cool because this answers the question, how far in advance does a professional player plan their rack when they begin their run out? Do they think just the next shot ahead, two or three shots ahead, or do they see the whole table? So I'm doing this to illustrate that a professional player is actually going to see the entire table or can see the entire table and plan exactly where he wants his cue ball to land on every single shot. So what I have are these little targets. I'm going to put a link on where you can get your own on Amazon in the description. So if you want to try this yourself at home, you can order those stickers and try it for yourself. While you're here, welcome to my channel. My name is Max Eberly. I'm a professional pool player and I'm here to teach you how to play better pool. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out the websites in the description if you want to learn more. I have a bunch of products, DVDs, and books to help you get better, to help you improve your game. Okay, so what I did is I broke the balls. I didn't have a shot on the one. That's why I'm taking ball in hand. You don't have to take ball in hand when you're doing this. And it looks like I made a ball, so this is really a 9-ball run. And what I'm doing is that first sticker I put down, it's about the size of a $50. That's where I want to be for the 2-ball. And once I found out where I wanted to be on the 2, that's how I placed the cue ball with ball in hand. And that second sticker, that's where I want to be on the 3. So I'm going to basically go through the whole rack right now, placing a sticker for my ideal position location for the cue ball, and see how close I can get to that sticker on every shot. So this requires for you to really stay in line every shot. It makes you concentrate. And I'm going to trying to land on that sticker. Really though, if you get close, it's usually going to be good enough. The point behind doing this though is that if you pick an exact spot for your cue ball control is going to improve much faster than if you play area position, like say the size of an entire sheet of paper or a big position zone. That's that's out there in the teaching world, position zones, and those are actually really important. But what I like to teach is to actually pick a specific spot inside of a zone. So usually you're just dealing with lines, position lines, and then you pick your spot on that line. And as we go, I'm going to talk about why I chose certain routes, and you'll notice that a lot of times the cue ball will be heading towards the next object ball, which helps you with the position. Sometimes you just can't do that. So this one, I'm just going to try to follow right up to that spot. It's relatively easy to control, a straight in follow shot. And I almost got there. I'm just a couple inches from there, which puts me in a good spot. But I think, notice how I came up a little bit short. That's why I'm elevating. I actually had to masse that one just to try to maintain the cue ball position back to that spot near where the cue ball is for the 3. But still, I'm almost right on line. And now here I'm just going to float one rail and then off the rail for the 4. Okay, maybe like 6 inches off, but it's almost right on line. So we call that being in line when you're on the proper side of the ball that you were trying to get, the proper angle. You can be a few inches too short or too long. As you're on that same line or real close to that line, you're usually going to be in good shape. So that one was a 2-rail position route. And notice how, again, it's on a pretty good line. That spot where I picked, it's almost right on line with that spot, even though I came up a little bit short. So you could say I'm still in line here. And I'm going to keep trying to get closer to my next position spot. And I'm pointing them out because I didn't know if I was going to do commentary over this. But you can see now I'm on the 7-ball and I'm real close to my spot. I was considering on this one using high left and just rolling it, but I think it was a little too straight in for that, so I wanted to just do a little bit of a draw, and I ended up hitting it too hard. It wasn't a bad line, but I came too far, a little bit too far, and that actually got me off line. So now I have an angle that I didn't want. I wanted to be straight in on that 8-ball, so I could just float forward a couple feet. But now I forced myself basically to go down to the end rail, 2 rails, and that's what you call getting back in line. So that wasn't the original route I had planned for that shot. Because I was out of line, I had to go 2 rails, but the good thing was I was able to almost land exactly on that spot that I had planned, and now you could say I'm back in line. So here it's just make the 9 and pull out. Okay, hit a little bit thin, maybe that's why the cue ball went a couple inches too far, but almost right where I wanted to be on the 10, so I'm in good shape to make the 10 here and call it a wrap on this first rack. There we go. Pretty happy with that. And here is I just put a little fast motion so you could see them reusing these targets. And there's a few different sizes. Those are actually manufactured for guns, target practicing with a pistol or a rifle. But they're perfect for a pool table. Thing is, they get a little bit dirty, so as you reuse them, they're not so sticky anymore, so you don't get too many uses out of each one. But I try to take good care of them and not bend them when I'm taking them off, so I can use them as many times as possible. But you get several of them in one pack, so, and you could order several packs at once. I don't think it's going to cost too much. It should last a long time. Okay, rack number 2. I'm not hitting them too hard. Good cue ball control. Nothing went down, and the 1 ball is hidden from my cue ball, so I went ahead and I'm going to take ball in hand again on this one, and then go ahead and set up my targets for this rack. So what I'd like to mention is, actually I got this idea from a great mentor of mine when I was growing up as a teenager in Ohio. One of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life, Garten Bierbauer, and he makes cues these days. He makes a beautiful pool cue, custom cues, but he was so smooth, and he always got the cue ball right where he wanted, and what a great chance for me as a young man growing up to learn how to play pool. And this is what he told me one day, is that he was kind of showing off to his friends. He marked with a chalk after he broke where he wanted the cue ball to land on every shot in a game of 9-ball, and he landed on that chalk spot every shot except for a couple. He was off by a couple inches, and I always thought that was real cool. So I used to do that. I used to break the balls and then make a little circle with the chalk, and I got to where I could do it. I could mark all my spots for the run out and land on several of the spots, and the other ones I get real close. So I thought that would make a cool video, but you just can't see the spots too well when you're using chalk. So I found these really cool targets at a sporting goods store, and I'm going to find them on Amazon. I'll put that link there again. But this is the first time I tried it. I saw these targets at the store. I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to try to make a video. And so these racks in this video are actually the first time I've tried this in 20 years, really, as far as doing this. And it's pretty cool because it forces you to focus on your speed control, your direction control, and you can really analyze what happened on every shot. Oh, did I go too far? Was I on the right line? Sometimes you're on the right line, sometimes, but you hit it too hard or too soft. Sometimes you hit perfect speed, but you're not on the right line. So if you hit perfect speed and the perfect line, that means you're going to land right on your target. This one, it's kind of a funny choice to what I did, and right off the bat, I put a little too much draw on that one, and I was trying to go to the rail actually and then land on the spot. So this is really thin on the 2-ball, so I have to try to get close to that spot. I'm trying to get back in line here because I messed that one up so much. But the lesson here is about recovery. And okay, so that came pretty close, so I'm getting right back to where I need to be, and that's what you want to do. You want to recover. You want to get back in line as soon as you can if you get out of position, and try to be very, very specific with where you want the cue ball to land. You'll be surprised at what you're able to do. Okay, so that one, see how I went over the target? That was a great line, but I hit it too hard. So now I have to finesse this 4-ball a little more than I wanted to, because the 4-ball is close to the rail and I have more angle than I wanted. So I have to be real careful in this one. I'm thinking about, because of that angle, about coming across 2 rails. But I decided I'm just going to continue with my original plan to try to come 1 rail off to that spot. It's right near the knuckle on my finger. Okay, so yeah, it was hard to get as much spin as I needed, but I almost got the right line and for that position route, and I ended up on a good line for the 5-ball. Okay, now that one, pretty good line, but a little too hard. So that, it was just hard enough to change the angle. I was going to just follow straight down off the rail and shoot the 7 in the right-hand corner. But because I hit that one a little too hard, I changed my mind. And this is what you call basically you're changing your pattern in the middle of the run. Okay, so changed that spot because it wasn't reasonable anymore. I picked a new one, and now I'll still try to get back to my original spots after the 7-ball. But that was the better route on that shot, and you could see it turned out pretty good. So now I just need to come up 1 rail, cut the 7-ball in, and try to get a nice angle for this 8-ball to come back across for the 9-ball. Okay, so just a little soft. So now the 8-ball is thinner than I wanted, so I'm just trying to point out which spot that I was intending. So this one is going to require, I'm going to have to hit it pretty soft. This table plays relatively fast, so it takes a lot of finesse on these, because the cue ball comes off pretty hot off of these object balls when you have a thin shot. So you can see I came up short. The line was almost dead perfect, but I think I'm complaining too much here. Sometimes if you're filming yourself, you might be thinking too much about the camera. So so that angle, I didn't like it enough, so I went ahead and changed the position for the 10 to a place where it made more sense. Okay, good shape, but missed the ball. Not too happy about that. Sometimes I think I put the 9 in the wrong place here. So what can happen is you can miss a shot on account of you're thinking too much about position play, and you got to have the ability to line up like that. You line up, the shot should already be in, and then you maintain your feel for the shot, for the position side of the shot, as you're already down on a good shot, right? So you want to be very decisive. Okay, now I just wanted to show you how big these targets are. A little bit closer up. And I thought those smaller ones were the size of a quarter, but then I'm going to put a quarter up to the camera here, and it turns out they're more about like a $50, maybe a silver dollar. Probably more like a $50. That's a quarter. But you can visualize a cue ball the size, a target the size of a cue ball. You can visualize it the size of a quarter. It's really up to you. That there's probably saying you've heard landing the cue ball on a dime. So that would be a very small target to land on. When somebody's playing real good, they're landing on a dime. It's a little bit tough to do when you're showing everybody where you're trying to land. But once you get in the zone, I've been in the zone where I'm playing and I'm really landing that cue ball right on the target several times in a row. And you can feel if you hit it too hard or too soft, but that kind of feel you're only going to develop if you actually start to try to be this accurate. If you never try to have cue ball control this accurate, you're never going to develop the cue ball touch to be able to land on a spot like this. So the first step is just for you to try. Don't even worry about it. And actually, before you do something like this, I recommend just doing it for one shot. Mark the starting point of your cue ball and for your object ball, and then the final target for where you want the cue ball to land, and just shoot the exact same shot until you can land exactly on your spot. And that's going to teach you fine-tune cue ball control and the speed of a particular table that you're playing on. But you're going to learn a lot about your stroke as you do this, and about concentration. So I figured I had a pretty good shot on this one ball as far as the bank. So I didn't take ball in hand. So I'm going to try to play a position on this 2-ball, starting from a 1-ball bank cross side. So it would just be pretty much a straight in bank shot on the 1, and draw back to that spot that's right in line between the cue ball and the 1-ball. Okay, so I made the bank pretty good, but I came way too far. So now I have a real thin cut shot. Remember, the good thing about this though is when you hit it too far or too soft, you start to know, fine-tuned how much harder you're hitting the ball or how soft you're hitting it. Whereas if you're just kind of wishy-washy about your cue ball, you're not really getting much better. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 rails across, and real close to my spot. So I'm back in line real fast. And that's a thing you can do with regularity. Whenever I shoot a shot going back and forth like that, I actually pick my spot to land on. And you'll be surprised if you start doing that, how many times you can actually land exactly on your spot, if not right next to it. Okay, that's not bad. Came maybe an inch and a half, inch too far beyond that spot, so my angle on the 4 to come over for the 5 is a little bit less, but it's still enough to slide over for the 5 and shoot the 5 in the side, the right hand side. I believe there would also be an option here to go forward to the bottom rail and then around the left side of the 10. But I like to keep it simple. If I don't have to hit a rail, usually I won't, or if I don't have to go 2 rails, if I can just go 1 rail pretty easy, I'll do that. Unless I'm trying to go into the ball on a line of position, which is pretty smart sometimes. Here, just roll up to that spot. Went a little bit too far. But you can see how I'm on the exact line right now that spot was on, even though it's a couple inches too far. Okay, so here we are. Now this one is almost a tangent line shot. Just pop the 7-ball on the side and then slide right down to that. This shot, I'm not going on a line I'm not going in on the line that I want, so I'm crossing the line of position. So see, every inch that I went beyond that spot was taking me away from my line. That one I needed to really control, and that's where you'll see a lot of professionals. As many times as possible, we're trying to go on the line of position, right in towards the 8. But at the same time, you need to have that control to be able to cross the line and still land on the spot that you were trying to land on anyway. So that one, okay, it came up way too short. I didn't have the angle I wanted, but I'm actually on a very, I think on the same line or close to the same line that I wanted to be shooting the 9 to get to the 10. So in a sense, that was a successful shot, but even though I'm too far from the ball, I'm still on a good line. Okay, so that one, yeah, a little bit short, a little bit off the line I was trying to get on, but it's almost right on the line of position that I was trying to land on. So hope you enjoyed this video, and go out and try it yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe, check out the links and all my products. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, my friend.